Our daily cancellation begins with a very viral video that has divided the internet. And as always, the divide is between people who are obviously right and people who are obviously wrong. The video was posted to Twitter over the weekend and has since been viewed over 20 million times. It's not clear when this was filmed or who exactly the people involved are, but none of that really matters for the purposes of our conversation today. As you'll see, this is a dispute between a middle-aged woman and a group of people walking on a trail in a park in Fort Collins, Colorado. The clip was posted by an account called I Mean, Therefore I Am, who adds this caption, quote, "We don't hate Karens enough. Watch as one tries to lecture and stop a person with a service dog from enjoying a walk in Fort Collins." So this is another so-called Karen video. The person who posted it thinks that for all of the relentless vitriol aimed at Karens, the real problem is that there isn't even more, apparently. They're the most hated group on the planet, but they should be even more hated. Now, you might think, aren't there any other groups that deserve a little bit of criticism sometimes? Can't some of this anger and energy be directed occasionally at other demographics that behave in objectionable ways sometimes? No, of course not. Let's just keep hating the Karens, also known as middle-aged white women, because they're a safe group to hate after all, so let's just stick with that. But is the middle-aged white woman in this video actually deserving of hate? Well, let's watch and find out.
So I'm barred from going to a park because of a service animal.
What?
Do you own this park?
I live right up there.
So do I.
I live in this 3 times a week.
Okay, so? Do you own this park?
Service animals are not allowed.
Do you own this park?
Dogs are not allowed on this trail. I'm recording you guys.
We're from the community college, that's fine.
What?
We're from the community college, that's why we're here today. We're on a field trip. So this service dog's allowed in the classroom as well. I'm pretty sure it's federally protected law.
Yeah.
No, this is not. This belongs to the city of Fort Collins.
So the way the federal law works,
you're saying that the American with Disabilities Act doesn't apply to
federal law trumps state law.
To city of Fort Collins regulations.
When you have a protected wildlife area, dogs are not allowed. That is a hard and fast rule. Did you see the disturbance of the animals around you as you walked?
So service dogs are legally permitted anywhere in the country that visitors can go.
So
even if dogs are excluded, this is a service animal. So you can call the authorities all you want, but technically this is a completely legal thing.
Did you know that there are protected...
We're gonna move on.
Okay.
All right. You guys?
Okay, so let's review for a moment. These people have decided to bring their dogs to a park where dogs are explicitly forbidden. The woman explains that one of the reasons for this rule is that dogs disturb the other wildlife at the park. The other people claim that the dog is a service dog, which means that they have the right to bring it wherever they want, whenever they want. Now, let's clarify a couple of things here. First of all, even if this animal is a legitimate service dog, and that's a big, massive if, that does not, in fact, mean that they have the right to bring it wherever they want. The Americans with Disabilities Act, which is a disaster in many ways and imposes all kinds of totally ridiculous and counterproductive regulations all over the place, actually does not state that service dogs can go anywhere. In fact, certain parks and zoos, for example, are specifically carved out by the ADA as places where service dogs may not be allowed. So it seems that the, quote, Karen is right on the legal merits here. But so that really should be the end of it, by the way. Like if she's just right, then she's right. So what's your argument? Yeah, but I want to do it anyway. Give a shit what you want to do. It's like you're not supposed, it's not allowed. She's right. Sorry. I know you want to do something differently, but it's not allowed. But the other major issue is that, of course, the concept of a service dog has been, like so many other concepts in modern times, expanded to the point of total meaninglessness. So if a person says that they have a service dog, it might mean that they're visually impaired and need it in order to get around, but it might also mean, and these days more likely means, that the dog is something like an emotional support animal or whatever, which is to say that the dog is just a pet. And in so many cases, service dog has become just another word for pet. Now, the law unfortunately does allow people to call a dog a service animal for any number of ridiculous and wholly fraudulent reasons. Although the law, again, still does not permit the dog to be brought to all public locations, especially not areas where there are other animals that also need to be protected. But even so, it is true that the law gives much more leeway than it should. Because in reality, the title of service dog should almost exclusively apply to seeing eye dogs. Almost everything else, with maybe a few other legitimate medical exceptions, should not qualify. If you need an emotional support animal, you don't actually need an emotional support animal. What you need to do is grow the hell up, okay? We would treat an adult like a freak if he walked around with his blankie or his teddy bear, for his emotional support. We should have the exact same level of contempt for adults with emotional support animals. It's embarrassing. It's infantilizing. Now, that might not apply to this specific situation. Maybe this was a legitimate service dog, but the principles remain true. Regardless, regardless, the woman is right about the law here. Either way, that's the fact. But I want to move past this particular incident and these specific people with their probably illegitimate, but maybe legitimate service animal. I want to go back to the caption, which obviously reflects what seems to be the prevailing sentiment in our society, where we're told we don't hate Karens enough. Now, I disagree. I think something closer to the opposite is true. I think we don't appreciate so-called Karens enough. Now, I've already made the case many times that the term Karen is a racist slur that no serious person, certainly no conservative, should ever use. Okay, the fact that it's a racist slur really isn't up for debate. It just is. And by the way, it started that way too. That's how it started. It started as a way for black people on Twitter to make fun of white women. Like that's the genesis of this term. I hate to tell you, that's where it comes from. It is a pejorative term used to refer to a people of a certain race and gender. In literally any other context, we would all agree without debate that it is a slur. As I've explained in the past, if I started calling all annoying black women Shaniquas, there would be no argument that it's racist. Certainly, if I were to say, we don't hate Shaniquas enough, I would be roundly condemned as a racist by basically everybody on both sides of the political divide. Same if I started calling obnoxious Asians Ching Chongs, You get the point. In any other example you can possibly think of, it would be a slur. But we're supposed to accept the idea that being racist and bigoted towards white women somehow doesn't count. It's different for them. And for whatever reason, many conservatives don't just go along with this, they eagerly participate in it. But let's put all that aside for a moment. I have defended middle-aged white women against the Karen slur in the past. What I'd like to do now is go a step further. I think society needs the sorts of people that we call quote-unquote Karens. I am grateful for them, and you should be too. Because what are the so-called Karens doing in most of the videos that go viral? They're trying to enforce the rules. They're attempting to restore order in a world of chaos and confusion. There's a reason that this is so upsetting to people nowadays. Why is it? Why is it that nowadays this type of woman is so reviled? Well, because in past societies, in basically every past society, everywhere on earth, there was a strong sense of etiquette and a set of commonly understood social taboos that governed how people behaved. Our society has done away with virtually all of that, not for any noble reason, but simply because so many people in this country want to be able to do whatever the hell they want and break any rule they want, whenever they want, regardless of the problems and inconveniences it causes other people. They don't care about anyone but themselves. This is why they're impervious to shame. One can only feel shame if they, at least at some level, actually value anyone aside from themselves. But these people don't care. They don't value anyone or care about anyone else or anything else. It's no wonder that in a culture filled with so many of these types, the so-called Karens would become public enemy number one. Now, we must note, I'm afraid to say, that, I'm not afraid to say, I'm saying, unfortunately, I must say that dog owners in particular have a tendency to fall into this and to disregard everyone around them. Not all dog owners, certainly. I'm a dog owner. Guess what? I don't fall into this. But some of them seem to think that they're imbued with the mystical right to bring their dogs anywhere and everywhere all the time. But why should this be allowed? Why should other people have to put up with your pet, even in places where it's obviously not appropriate to bring animals, such as at a restaurant or a grocery store, on a plane? Well, they should have to put up with it because the dog owner wants to bring their dog. And the only thing that matters in the whole entire universe is what they want. Your desire to eat at a restaurant with basic first world sanitation doesn't register to them. It means nothing. The only thing that means anything is what they want to do. That's how they think. By the way, the restaurant thing, if you think I'm exaggerating this, we were debating this on Twitter. It won't surprise you to learn. I made this point about, well, don't bring your dogs in restaurants. All kinds of dog owners coming out of the woodwork to say, well, no, I'm going to bring my dog in any restaurant I want. Why do you need to bring your dog into a restaurant? People are eating. Can you not at least not bring the dog into places where it's a dining area? You have an animal that licks his own butt and in the dining area. I'm paying money to eat here. Can I at least not have the animal there? And you got all these dog owners saying, no, I want to bring my... Why should you? Because I want to. Just because I want to. That's it. That's the only reason. I just want to do what I want to do. And it's like it doesn't register on them that that's not a valid argument. That's just you saying you're a selfish ass, which I get it. I know you are, but that's not a justification. So the Karens are the ones. They are the only ones, really, with the guts to call these assholes out to their faces. I think it's great. In a world full of entitled brats who demand that the rules conform to their preferences, the Karens are there standing in the gap, raging against the dying of the life and the dying of our social norms and etiquette. We also see this, it's not just with dog owners, but we see this especially in customer service situations. The Karen is so reviled, so often condemned for her propensity to call for the manager. But why does she do that? Because customer service is horrifically abysmal these days. We all know that. So often as a customer, you find that you are paying for the privilege of being treated with total disregard, if not outright contempt, by the employees whose wages you are subsidizing. I went through a drive-through this morning. I pull up to the window. I say, hey, how are you? No response from the person. They don't even say a word. They just say, pull up to the next window to get my food. No word, not a word, not a greeting, not anything. Okay, I'm paying your only job is to smile and say hello and hand a bag. That is your whole job. And you're not doing it. You can't do it. You refuse to do it. Now, most people just sit there meekly and take it, allowing themselves to be flagrantly disrespected by people whose whole entire job is to treat them well and care about their experiences. Karens are the only ones who don't go along with that program. And I applaud them for it. Because I admit, I'm guilty of this. I go to the drive-thru, they hand me an order, like half of it is wrong. You can't even get not only do they have contempt for you, they hate you just for being there. And we just accept that, that's okay. You know right away, if you have an order that involves more than 2 food items, at this point, you know for a fact that it's going to be wrong, at least partially. And like most people, when that happens to me, I'm like, oh, whatever. Okay, all right. I guess I'm eating this now. I wanted a hamburger. You gave me a chicken. All right, I'll eat chicken. Fine. Because I don't feel like dealing with it. But the Karen, okay, the so-called Karen, she's the only one who says, hell no, I'm the customer. I'm paying. Hey, guess what, buddy? You're going to get my order right. Provide me with competent service. Or else you're going to have a problem. I'm going to cause a problem for you. And you can pull out your stupid phone and you can get it on. You can put it on Twitter. I don't give a shit, okay? You're going to give me proper service. I'm paying you. This is what I paid for. Give me what I pay for. I think more of us should be Karens. A lot more of us. Maybe then there wouldn't be so many lazy, incompetent brats everywhere. So again, I say thank God for Karens. Thank God for middle-aged white women who don't have time for your bullshit. They are the unsung heroes of our society. Okay? They are. They're not canceled. Not on this show. On every other show they are. Not on this one. Instead, it is the selfish jerks who make the Karen necessary. They are the ones who are today canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.